Welcome back to our PCM 25 career mode. Gotta say, our last couple of weeks in this career mode have been super successful. Romeo winning Basque Country, COBBLE winning MSR, multiple stages at Catalunya. Let's keep going. In today's episode, we're taking on the Hill Classics, so Amstel, Flèche and LBL, and also Romandie. And of course, I'm hoping to get a couple more victories along the way. But I feel like winning a Hill Classic will be quite difficult. For example, the Amstel Gold Race against Remco Evenepoel, Romain Grégoire, Tom Pidcock, Mathieu van der Poel, Isaac Del Toro. What a list. Technically, my best puncher is Adria Pericas, but Romeo has a much better kick and a fitness peak, so I think he'll become leader. Anyway, we'll find out in the race. Actually, despite his fitness peak, even Romeo with a 0 race day condition, so that is kind of disappointing. Pericas with a +1, looking quite strong with a 79 hill stat. I think considering the competition, a top 5 in this race would already be fantastic. Just about 80 kilometers to go, past the halfway point of the race, and the brakes got a minute 30 on the peloton where we're basically chilling for now, so a pretty passive race so far. Anyway, 43 kilometers to go and quite a few hills coming. There comes the attack by multiple riders and Evenepoel was one of them, but we've got some big hills coming, including the Gulperberg, Fromberg and the Keutenberg, so let's get ready. There comes a move by Evenepoel. We've got some responses by Gloak, Pidcock and so forth. Mintegi's gonna take over and just stay in this peloton group. Can I get to the wheel of Mr. Van der Poel on the right side of the road? That would be nice because I don't really want to be on a gap of 10 riders. And we are basically in the wheel, so we're okay, but we're losing riders quickly. Only 2 riders with energy, Pericas and Romeo. And fortunately for us, other teams are bringing us back, so that is fantastic. Back at the front of the race with 28k to go. But twice the Kouberg still to come. On to the second last Kouberg, and I gotta say, I am truly terrified. There goes Pidcock. Can I follow this move? I've got so little energy, so I'm gonna get dropped here. Come on, Romeo, get to the wheel. We're gonna lose all our energy doing this, so this is looking very bad. I think it's done for Romeo, unless I can get to the wheel. Come on, barely any yellow left, but I am in the wheel of the front group for now, but it's not looking good. And of course, on the next climb, I get dropped because I'm completely out of yellow and red bars, so that's the end of the race for us. Top 5? That's not happening. Anyway, fight for the victory between Del Toro and Grégoire. Grégoire on the left, but it's Isaac Del Toro winning Amstel Gold Race. And a disappointing race for Dacia Sirocco for Endurance with perhaps a top 30, maybe? Not even? Actually, in the top 20, so that's better than I thought, but still not the result we came for, of course. Let's hope we can do better at Flèche. Once again, a stacked start list with the likes of Romain Grégoire, Remco Evenepoel and Tom Pidcock. And basically the same squad for us, Adria Pericas and Romeo. Honestly, I'm not sure who to go for. Pericas with a 78 hill stat and Romeo with 77, but he's overall the better rider. Oh snap, halfway the race and Pericas had a crash, so he's getting back to the peloton on this climb. Probably should have pulled back a teammate, but didn't have the time to do so. Let's get him back to the front. Gotta say, despite Pericas being back in position, I do lean towards Romeo as leader after that crash. Anyway, 26 kilometers to go. My train is set up to try and get myself to the foot of the Muur van Huy, also known as the Muur de Huy, in a good position. But first, we gotta get ourselves over the Côte d'Eref and the Côte de Chérave. We've got some movements at the front of the peloton, but no serious attacks. Now racing towards the foot of the Côte de Chérave, but I've got limited teammates. Veldhofer is basically done for. I've got Pericas and Romeo. That's it. And this Côte de Chérave is not exactly the easiest climb in the world. We are on it as we speak. 1.7 kilometers at 6.3%, so it's a pretty long one. Let's get to 92, 93 when it comes to our effort. Gotta stay in position. There we go, over the top, but we have to move up now because the Muur de Huy is coming. 2.5 kilometers to go under the bridge, now to the right towards the climb. Pericas doing a fantastic lead out into the foot of the Muur de Huy. Romeo in a perfect position, so that is great. Let's keep it that way. We are spending too much of our red bar though. Let's do 93, 94. This is gonna be a disaster, I think. Let's start our sprint right now on the right side of the road. Evenepoel is also competing, but it's gonna be a top 5, I think, because actually a podium. Remco Evenepoel wins on the Muur de Huy, La Flèche Wallonne. Grégoire in second and Romeo in third, so I'm actually pretty happy. Especially because Romeo is beating some heavy hitters like Nijs, Del Toro, Pidcock. No pancakes. But I must confess, I am truly terrified of our next race, especially after Amstel Gold Race. The 4th monument of the season, Liège-Bastogne-Liège with Tadej Pogacar present. But even regardless of the competition, I simply think our team is not good enough to make it to the final. Like, I love El Capitan Ivan Romeo, but his stats are not that great. Anyway, I'm hoping for maybe a top 10. Just about halfway the race and the hill zone or medium mountain zone is starting, but my team's already not looking fantastic, so I am really worried. That said, Romeo does have fantastic daily form, 79 medium mountain, so he's my only hope. With a strong team, these early climbs are super fun to open up the race early, but I don't have that. My team is rather weak at this race, so it's all about surviving. Literally 67 kilometers from the finish, and I've got one rider with proper energy, Romeo. The rest of the team is basically done for already. On the Col du Rosier, and the tempo in the peloton is pretty significant. I'm simply trying to follow, and so far it's working. But I am losing my last domestique Pericas, so Romeo is basically completely isolated. Anyway, in the last 30 kilometers, we survived the race so far, but La Redoute is coming, so that's gonna be a pretty important climb. A group of 30 riders into the foot of La Redoute with ourselves in a good position, but I do expect some moves on this climb. There goes Tadej Pogačar on the right side of the road. I really can't respond to that, so I'm just gonna set my own tempo and see how close I can get over the top. There we go, roughly 30 seconds behind. Pogačar has dropped his fellow attacker, so it's a solo move. And now I'll sit up and try and recover in the wheel of Magnier. Paul Magnier is still here? What? I'm sorry, but that is some Class A bullshit. Anyway, Evenepoel himself is now pacing after Magnier and Paris-Pancher have been dropped, and Pogačar has 13 seconds right now with a single climb left to come, which is Rochefoucauld. And actually, Tadej Pogačar is still with a gap at the foot of Rochefoucauld, but now we have to speed up in this group. He's been caught and the tempo is down, which I like. Come on, let's try to follow. There goes a move by Skjelmose and then Remco Evenepoel, but I'm gonna stick with this second group. I don't have the energy to respond, so it's all about trying to survive now. Almost back together with Tadej Pogačar in the second group, but I'm running out of energy, so hopefully I make it, but it's looking pretty bad. Ivan Romeo, no, the last uphill segment. Literally the last uphill segment of this entire race. And we're getting dropped off the back of the group of Pogačar. So close to securing a top 10 here, but hopefully we can still manage it. In the last 3 kilometers towards Liège, we've got Skjelmose, Van der Poel, Grégoire, and Evenepoel. My money is on Van der Poel. There comes the sprint. Into the final kilometer, Van der Poel takes the upper hand against Skjelmose, but this corner, I don't think it's gonna change anything. Mathieu Van der Poel wins LBL, and I am still fighting for a top 10 in the race, so that is good. The riders behind me are almost a minute behind me, so keep going, Mr. Romeo. Just drove through a car. That's pretty epic, but anyway, finishing with a pretty solid top 10, so good race, but a shame we couldn't follow Pogačar. In real life, this race is definitely too hard for Mathieu Van der Poel to win against Pogačar and Evenepoel, but what a victory. Ivan Romeo in 9th place. I can only be happy there. Like sure, 9th, 3rd and 18th at the Hill Classics, those are not the best results in the world, but I was kind of expecting worse. Anyway, putting one-day races to the side, it's time for a stage race once again, Tour de Romandie. 6 stages in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, starting off with a 3-kilometer prologue, then a puncher stage that looks too hard to be a versatile sprint, so it's gonna be GC. And same story for the 3rd stage, a medium mountain stage. That said, stage 4 is definitely a sprint, followed by a monster of a queen stage to Tion 2000 with the Les Colons climb just before that, so lots of climbing. And lastly, once again a time trial, 14 kilometers, and once again hilly. I'm sorry, but can you hear it? Is that the soundtrack of Ivan Romeo? Of course it is, 2 time trials, why would I not send Romeo to this race? Then again, with 74 mountain stat, that Tion 2000 stage will be quite difficult. That said, the start list is not exactly too deadly. Mostly Lipovic for Visma Leasebike, Fisher Black for Tudor Pro Cycling, Skjelmose for Trek, and AJ August for Ineos. But in this 3.8 kilometer prologue, we do have a chance with 77 prologue stat. Ivan Romeo is 4th favorite. But of course, I want to get as close as possible to winning. Okay, let's begin. Romeo on the road on 91 is too much, so let's drop that to 86, 87. It's only 3.8 kilometers, but I want to spend my red bar on the second half of this time trial. Here we go, to the left onto the climb, now to 88 when it comes to our effort, and we're cooking quite well. In the last kilometer right now. Come on, final stretch, 88 is too much. Ooh, ran out of energy in the last few meters and 3 seconds down on Vine. I think I could have done better there. Actually, never mind. Looks like the early starters did quite well. Jay Vine wins it by 3 seconds over our man, Ivan Romeo, so solid time trial. And of course, that means we're also in 2nd place in GC on 3 seconds, so pretty good start. That said, Romeo has not won a single time trial this year so far, 3 times 2nd place, so I'm slowly but surely hoping hoping we can win one soon. Anyway, stage 2 is not a time trial, it's a hilly parkour. I'm hoping to get Kubish over these climbs, but I think it's gonna be for GC. And Matthias Kjellmose is the favorite. The climbs are actually quite steep, but +2 on Kubish means we've got 77 hill stats, 74 medium mountain. This might be possible. On the first of the 3 climbs, the break's already been caught, Trek is spacing, but Kubish is holding on quite nicely, so looking good for now. Now on the second and second last climb, still a pretty large peloton. My entire team is still here, but Pedrero and Edison are almost done for, so I'll have to switch my protectors. But once again, Kubish safely over the top, so that is perfection. Last 20 kilometers now. On the final climb, once again, Trek going to the front to set some tempo with Jonathan Milan, Schoofs as well for Intermarché, and Kubish is in a good position. Oh, is that an attack? I think that's Kjellmose. No, it's Gegenhardt. Hirschi responding, then Kjellmose responding to that. Rubio almost in the wheel as well, but it looks like we've got a dual attack by Trek. This is some crazy tactics. Kjellmose and Gegenhardt over the top. I am sitting in the group behind with everybody, so that's pretty nice. With just about 7 kilometers to go, our position is shit. Kjellmose has been caught, but we need to start moving up to the front, otherwise we will not have a chance here. There we go, moving up on the right, Fernandez to 99. There comes a move by Van Beckham with Kjellmose in the wheel. Romeo is ready for the lead out. Kubish is gonna destroy everyone. I can feel it. Last 2.7 kilometers, Romeo is ready for the lead out. This is looking pretty fantastic. There comes Romeo on the right side of the road. Ulrich, Brennan is still here! How is Brennan still here? Last kilometer, come on Kubish, this is your moment. We've got Kjellmose and Mohoric, but no. Brennan who? Lukas Kubish takes it. There we go. I must confess, I nearly had a heart attack when I saw Matthew Brennan was still in this group. But in the end, it does not matter because he launched way too early. Lukas Kubish takes it. Oh la la, what is this? Jay Vine lost some time today, so we've got the lead with Ivan Romeo leading Romandie. Like, we lost the time trial, but still, this is a perfect start to Romandie, a stage win and leading GC. Hopefully, we can keep it up. But as you can see, first it is time to do something really fun. Transfer dossiers. Basically, we get to see who's available on the transfer market and can select a few riders that we'd like to invest in to potentially sign in a couple of months. I think a major focus for this transfer season is finding a better sprinter and also a stronger cobble team, as I think we are relatively safe in the climbing department. Because, well, Lorenzo Finn is only gonna get better from here. So yeah, I'm most likely not gonna sign a Michelanda. Like, Matthew Brennan would be the perfect signing as a sprinter and a potential cobble rider and a versatile sprinter. Lots of things, but he is so disinterested. So right now, I don't feel like doing it. Oh, I think I found a perfect signing for our cobble team. Antonio Morgado. 77 cobble combined with 78 hill stat is perfection for RVV. So yeah, Morgado is definitely going on the list. I know Adrien Boissy is not exactly fitting in the rider types I need for the team, but I would love to sign him, so 77 hill stat, I'll do it. That man is coming to Sirocco for endurance. But I am considering this man, Paul Magnier. By the way, this guy has 77 hill stat. No wonder he was in the final of LBL. For some weird reason, 6-star potentially in puncher and not sprinter, but he does have 76 sprint stat and also a cobble stat of 73. It's fair to say he would be a perfect signing for Kuurne Brussel Kuurne, Gent Wevelgem and so forth. So I am adding Paul Magnier to our list, let's hope it works out. The new French god Paul Sixas is also on the transfer market. 80 mountain, 81 medium mountain, 20 years old. The perfect signing, but I won't do it. He's overpowered. So yeah, I've decided not to sign Paul Sixas, but I am considering signing Carlos Rodriguez. People forget he's only 26. And with 80 mountain, 79 medium mountain, 73 time trial, he can compete for a podium at a Grand Tour for us. And of course, it really fits with our Spanish identity of Sirocco, so there we go. I gotta say, Rodriguez, Morgado, Magnier, Boissy, that's a pretty strong list so far. Let's go ahead and confirm those dossiers. Now, one more thing on transfers. I'm not actually sure that I'll be able to afford those transfers with my 2.4 million budget, but that's a problem for later. Anyway, on to stage 3 of Tour de Romandie, a medium mountain stage but a flat finish, so if Kubish once again has fantastic form, then maybe something's possible. Matthias Kjellmose is the favorite, but I'm not actually scared about losing my jersey on this one. Romeo should be safe. This time Lukas Kubish is not starting with a plus 17 race day condition, we've got a 0 race day, so 75 hill stat, 72 medium mountain. On that final climb, that might be difficult. Oh, Fernandez down, Pedrero down from the get-go. That's not a great start. Lots of riders down actually. No one is stopping. Actually, someone is abandoning the second best rider on Visma, Nordhagen. But hey, that's their problem. In the last 40 kilometers as we speak, with 2 climbs yet to come, but we are well positioned and looking pretty good at the moment, but I'm still scared for Kubiš. He is holding on well on the first of the 2 climbs and is still in the peloton, so that's good. But now it's time for the steep climb and I'm losing positions left and right with Kubiš, so this is not looking great. Darren van Beckum is pacing for Skjelmose and Kubiš is moving up a bit, so maybe it's possible? I think it's gonna work out on 93 right now, but splits could come in this group. Come on, buddy. Over the top. There we go. There was a split in the peloton, but it seems to have been undone, so all the climbs are behind me and a peloton of 64 riders with Kubiš, so that's great. Flying down the last descent, 6 kilometers to go. Fernandez is doing a 99 lead out to get ourselves to the front, but Ineos is doing the same at the front with Brennan in their wheel. 4.8 kilometers to go. Schwarzbacher is ready for the lead out. Energygel on Kubiš and Romeo. Come on, last 3 kilometers, buddy. There goes Schwarzbacher. Romeo in the wheel is ready for the lead out pretty soon. Last 2K, here we go with Romeo. Kubiš is in the wheel, but Brennan is looking good today. Brennan's looking good. There goes Kubiš on the left side of the road. Brennan from the wheel of Tarling tries to combat Kubiš, and it's gonna work! Brennan is gonna win this stage of Romandie. We finish third, so a podium, and actually maybe a gap? I hope that's a gap. Oh la la, fantastic news. A 6-second gap from Romeo to the other GC riders, so that is perfection. So yeah, we are still leading GC by 3 seconds now on Söderqvist and 5 seconds on Skjelmose. Now, stage 4 is a sprint stage, a pure sprint stage, so it's Jonathan Milan with a whopping 84 sprint stat. And of course, we'll try to do our best with Lukáš Kubiš with 75. It's fair to say this is gonna be tough. Pretty rainy conditions on this stage, but a great form on Kubiš, +2, so 77 sprint. We do have to keep in mind that the final does look quite downhill, but I'm hoping for a podium. In the last 14 kilometers, gradually trying to make my way to the front with my sprint train, but kind of blocked in at the moment. So many sprint trains on the road that it's kind of chaotic. But I do want to be in perfect position when the downhill starts, so Fernandez is going 95 right now. Romeo can take over on 99, that's early. That is very early, but descent is coming. 4.3 kilometers, we're not exactly at the front right now. Schwarzbacher on 99, buddy, come on, you can do it. I will start sprinting at 3K to go at Schwarzbacher. Why not? Ederson in the wheel, Energygel on Kubiš. I forgot to do it. Last 2 kilometers, Ederson is still in the wheel. Let's wait as long as possible right now. Kubiš is ready to launch right now as well. There we go with Kubiš, but I don't think it's gonna work out. We're getting blocked in and Milan wins. As simple as that. What a simple sprint. And a shit sprint from our team. And let's be honest, it is my fault because I said it was a downhill run-in and I still launched my sprint with Kubiš so incredibly late. Anyway, Ivan Romeo is still in the lead of GC, but now the mountain stage begins. But when I see stage 5, I am so incredibly scared. Look at this monster. Tion 2000 at the finish with a massive climb before it. Against people like Finn Fisher-Black with 80 mountain, August, Lipovic, same stuff. And of course, Ivan Romeo, 74 mountain only, so this is gonna be difficult. I think I'm not just losing my leader's jersey, I think I might lose my top 10. Once again, rainy conditions, but we are starting with solid form. Romeo with a +1 on the day, so 77 mountain. I'm starting to get hopeful for my top 10. The breakaway is massive though, 20 riders, and Axel Zangle is the closest in GC on 5 minutes, but I'm not too scared. That said, after the first climb, the break has 8 minutes on the peloton, so I've put Pedrero at the front of the peloton to try and diminish that gap. Now on the second climb, and the break is down to 6 minutes 40, and it's falling apart. Only 5 riders at the front. Pedrero's basically done for though, but Trek is pacing as well, so that's great. I'm trying my best to keep Romeo's effort on these early climbs as low as possible to save all my energy for the final. By the way, the breakaway is 7 minutes ahead, but it's a single rider. Sobrero, all the rest is caught by the peloton. Here we go then, the second last climb of the day, 15k of climbing, quite steep in places, but we are well positioned in the peloton of 50 riders. I'm gonna try and save as much energy as possible for the final climb. Only a couple kilometers left on this second last climb and the break is getting caught as we speak, 28 riders left. What if I do something stupid? Should I attack on this climb? I don't think I should. The peloton, or what's left of it, is about to top the second last climb, and I gotta say 26 riders only in this group, so very little riders, but I'm isolated. Not a single teammate for Romeo for the final climb. And that definitely worries me. Effort down to 25, trying to recover as much as possible in this small descent. Perfection, almost at the foot of the final climb, but my energy is looking pretty good. Now up to 85 and move up on the right. We got an attack by Bart Lemon. Okay, that is captivating. The group is speeding up, trying to follow the move of Lemon with Ineos pacing right now, but I'm just staying in the wheel, staying at the back of the group. I do feel like a split is about to occur halfway the group, so maybe I should try and move up, but it's gonna cost so much energy. There comes the split. Ay, ay, ay. We are off the back. 4 kilometers to go. I'm struggling to follow the second group right now. I've got a little bit of energy left. We are passing riders that are cracking completely, but even getting in the top 10 of the stage will be near impossible. Meanwhile, at the front, in the last 1.5 kilometers, Lipovic, Lascano, August, Rubio, Schelmoza and Fisher Black about to fight for it. We are going very slow, about a kilometer behind that, trying to survive, passing the likes of Jay Vine, but looks like the stage win is gonna be for August ahead of Fisher Black, and we are entering the last kilometer right now, so we are so far behind. It's gonna be a top 15 for Romeo. In the end, we finished 12th on the stage, which is kind of expected, to be honest. The leader of the race is now Schelmoza, but we stay in the top 10, so I'm pretty okay with that. Of course, I prefer to win or podium, but we gotta be realistic, you know? That said, I am looking forward to this final stage, a 14.6 kilometer time trial, but I'm terrified of Tarling. But I'm not sure if we can move up in GC. So we are 19 seconds behind Matthijs Rondel, who does not have a time trial stat, so I think I can move up to 8th. So, time to begin with Ivan Romeo, 78 time trial on the day. I'll start off on 86, but I think I want to spend my red bar on these climby segments. To the first time check, let's take a look. We are, oh la la, 16th, really? On 23 seconds? That's a disaster. Honestly, I thought I was cooking, but I fear that I'm about to get cooked. Final stretch, let's take a look. Tarling wins and we finish third, so we did better at the finish. Last rider on the road, is Schelmoza gonna push me off the podium? Yes, he does! But hey, we do move up to 8th place in GC, so that's a success. But it does hurt seeing Schelmoza win the points classification by 4 points on Romeo and 10 points on Kubish. 2 riders on the podium. Despite finishing 8th in GC, I still consider this a successful race because I can't imagine how he could have done better. And our stage win on day 2 with Kubish was pretty beautiful. We do keep dropping in the World Tour ranking, now from 3rd to 4th, but I'm not too worried because we have enough points to definitely survive. And I really can't wait to start the next episode because on the menu, our first Grand Tour of the season, the Giro d'Italia 2027. Starting off in Budapest, so it is the 2022 variant of the race. With Mount Etna on stage 4, Blockhouse on stage 9, the Mortirolo on stage 16, and lastly Passo Fedaya, very steep on stage 20, where we saw Hindley win the race. And for this race, our leader is Lorenzo Finn, so I can't wait to begin. But hey, that is for next time. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Goodbye!